What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the StatShark Sports Show. I'm your host, Sport Report MD. We've made it to week 6 of the NFL. After this week, we will officially be 1/3 of the way through the season. Time sure does fly when you're having fun. Last week, we looked at the running backs. This week, we're going to take a look at the field generals and these 5 quarterbacks. So, without further ado, let's get into it. The first quarterback we're going to look at this week is Lamar Jackson of the Ravens. Our proprietary projection system has him projected at 206 yards. The line this week is set at 222.5. So on that line, we are taking the under. Lamar Jackson has improved as a passer over the years after being called just a running back. However, that has not translated into huge yardage performances. In 11 of his last 16 full games, he has failed to reach the 222-yard mark, which is where the line is at. And after a performance that his receivers gave 10 drops last week, there has to be some trust issues there. So you may see a huge leap in the run game, and that is why this week we are taking the under. The second quarterback we're looking at this week is Ryan Tannehill of the Titans. Our projection system has him at 230 yards. The line this week is set at 209.5, so on that we are taking the over. When we think of the Titans, we do think of the rushing game and Derrick Henry. So you may be wondering why the over with the Titans. Well, in 7 of his last 11 games, Tannehill has thrown for more than 210 yards, which is where the line is set at. And in his career against the Ravens, he has thrown for less than 225 yards against them just once. And the Titans also are averaging 28 passing attempts per game, which is helping Tannehill's numbers this season. All of that factors into why we are taking the over. The next quarterback we're looking at this week is Sam Howell of the Commanders. Our projection system has him at 188 yards. The line this week is set at 242.5, so on that we are taking the under. Howell's kind of an interesting one to look at because he does only have 6 career starts, so it's hard to have a lot of data on him. In those 6 games, he has been all or nothing. 3 starts have been for 290 or more yards, and 3 have been for 202 or less yards. He is coming off of a career high performance last week where he did throw for 388 yards. However, it was against the Bears, so it is kind of hard to know if that's a true mark of his performance or not. He is playing the Falcons this week, who give up about 190 passing yards per game. So all of that kind of factors into why we are taking the under. Our fourth quarterback we're looking at is Kirk Cousins of the Vikings. Our projections have him at 278 yards. The line this week is set at 249.5, so on that we are taking the over. This is going to be an interesting week for the Vikings as well, since it is the first time since they drafted Justin Jefferson that Kirk Cousins will not have him to throw to. This will actually probably force him to spread the ball out even more than usual, which may help their passing game. The Vikings do throw the ball on about 67% of their possessions, which is one of the higher marks in the league. On top of that, they do throw the ball about an average of 40 times per game. So that all factors into why we are taking the over. And they're playing the Bears. So, as you heard with Sam Howell's 388 yards, they are very easy to throw against. The last quarterback we're looking at this week is Derek Carr of the Saints. Our projection system has him at 236 yards. The line this week is set at 215.5, so on that we are taking the over. The Saints are an interesting team because their run and pass attempts are split almost 50-50. Depending on the week, they do throw a little more, but it is fairly balanced for them. They do play the Texans this week, who have been performing very well, especially with a rookie quarterback, and the Saints may end up finding themselves in a spot where they have to throw the ball to keep pace with the Texans. The Texans also give up about 220 passing yards per game on defense, so that is why this week we are taking the over. And that is going to do it for week 6 of the StatShark Sports Show. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Sport Report MD. Be sure to go to our social media pages and the website and YouTube and like, subscribe, and follow so that you don't miss any of our weekly content. If you have Discord, you'll also want to check us out on there. For $8.49 a month, you have access to all of our player props, team picks, daily fantasy sports analytics, and so much more. What other subscription are you paying that little for that can actually help you win money? So again, I'm your host, Sport Report MD. Remember, with StatShark, you can bet with more bite. We'll see you next week.